Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today is Wednesday. I'm filming a Roxy Journal of Stitchery treasure hunt episode. I want to do a little bit more work on my vintage piece of embroidery, they're old-fashioned doilies, so I'll be getting to that in a minute. Got a couple other things to quickly show you, and I guess by the time you're watching this video, which is tomorrow, Thursday, we will know the next prompt. I'm pretty sure it's a prompt week. Yes, it is. It is. So I guess I'll be back Saturday with working on the new prompt. But in the meantime, I better get a wriggle on and get this piece moving along a little bit. So I just wanted to show you, I picked up at, now how did this all come about? A friend of a friend's friend was cleaning out her craft room. She was an elderly lady, and all of the patterns to do with quilting made their way to my friend, plus some other bits and pieces. She went through it, picked out what she wanted, and then the residual was sent to me, which was really just some folders of quilts that she must have made, and she'd kept patterns of how she'd made it, what fabric went where, a real traditional way of, recording the detail of a quilt so that every time you pick it up, you sort of know what colour goes to where. So I flipped through it and I've sort of popped it away in the back of the cupboard. I don't really need it, but anyway, I'm flipping through and I got to the very last page and I found this. So she must have made a quilt using these fabrics and these bits and bobs were left. And I thought, oh, how beautiful, absolutely like a little treasure. So I thought it's sort of, whoops, gosh, I've got everything balancing on here from our last video. I literally packed it up and put it away. I just wanted to show you what I've inherited in the way of little treasures. And they certainly go with the colour schemes that I tend towards. So I've got a couple little blocks there. Some nice little morsels. I do not know the name of this fabric. If anyone recognises it, drop it in the comments, because it certainly is a lovely combination of colours that I tend to work towards. Little morsel stitched together. I love that. Those, just beautiful. And this little piece, oh, okay, made in Japan. So there's a hint. There we go. Another little piece. And then look at this. Log cabin. Now, I could have done with that when I was doing my Susanna Vintage Blend Studio project of revisiting some old techniques of sewing. So I was absolutely chuffed. So I felt like I got something a little bit special out of it. So I'll just keep it all together. You never know, it might inspire a project. Just these pieces, it might end up in there because it sort of feels a bit like it could suit. So it sort of works. So I was chuffed, absolutely chuffed. I love it when I find these little treasured bits that we can use. So I shall pop that in my box of random fabrics on my desk, because you just never know. I might just bring it over here. It's just where I pop colours of, you watch that pin bite me, bits and pieces from leftovers from different projects whenever I turn on the camera and there's, something left over. So there's literally like the story of my projects in here at the moment. So yeah, I'll pop it in there because you just never know when I'll need a snippet of something. I know what else I need to pop into that. See, I'm tidying up as well. Is the fabric that I dyed from the Fleur Woods project I'm working through. So the class, the online class, it's going well. I'm on the big piece now. It's a challenge. I really am fuddling around a little bit. I think I've got it now, but I don't know. I put together a colour scheme and it was sort of these tones with red, very French fabric projects if you think back to those colour schemes. But as I've created it, I sort of felt, oh, I'm doing the same. And I started to sort of want to pick up brighter colours and things. It was really odd. It went over for about a week. I haven't made any videos for a week because, you know, Pepper and the puppies, and just watching her, and just had it close, and I was just stitching the Fleur Woods project. So I like laid out all these colours, all these tones, and as the week sort of rolled on, it just, I don't know, I didn't lose interest, but I just felt like I started picking up, like here's a scrap of not even the stuff I'm using, but I started going to really brights. It's very odd. I've transitioned, and then all of these elements I pinned onto the piece, I started pulling them all back. I paired it right back. I went from full on, I know what I'm doing, and I pieced everything, and then over about a 3-day period, I shredded it. I don't know, went in a completely different direction. So I'll give you an update of that when I feel a little bit more settled in the piece, if that makes sense. Another thing I want to show you before we get into some stitching is Brisbane Ladies. The Craft and Quilt Fair is coming to Brisbane, October 11 to 14. Now it's at South Bank at the big exhibition grounds as per normal, if you're familiar to this particular event. And I was flipping through it, just having a little look, and I thought, oh yes, all looks lovely. Yeah, none of that catches my eye. I thought, oh, that's interesting. This looks like a very talented lady. She does all this stitching of animals, and I have a feeling it might be the rabbit I did a year or so ago. I'm yet to just double check that, but I thought, wow, that class all, you know, looks very, very interesting. Flipping through, and who do I spot in here? Our friend Jennifer. Look at this. So Brisbane Ladies, if you have any chance of getting to the fair, Thursday, October 12, 10:15 and 3:45, Jennifer is running 2 classes. So I had a little chat to her too a couple of days ago, and she doesn't usually do the fair. She's been asked many times, but she's going to pop along this time. So if you can, get into her class. She's got a little project ready, and it's going to be a cover for a journal. So doing some stitching and spending a bit of time with Jennifer. So great opportunity, Brisbane Ladies. If you can, get your tushes down there and get yourself into Jennifer's class. I don't think I'll make it. I'm just not sure. I'll just have to see where we're at. I sort of don't really want to go too far from my puppies at the moment. So I said to her, I may or may not. If I do, I might just wave from a distance and keep moving. But, you know, at the end of the day, I really don't need anything. And if I go near this establishment with all of these fantastic suppliers, looks like trouble, doesn't it? Look at that. That was actually a colour scheme that I considered for my Fleur Woods too, and I sort of have drifted towards that. Blue came in. I had all of these pinks and reds, and then I just felt it needed something, so blue has come in, and then it went crazy from there. But I'll show you that another day. But I think that must have been sitting near me at the time, because I remember glancing at that. Oh, it's just beautiful. Look at all that. 3-dimensional. Look at it. Isn't that beautiful? Who's the artist doing this? Is there a class in there? Might be something to do with this lady. It's not jumping out at me. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I should be focused on doing some stitching. I've been doing a lot of stitching, but it just hasn't been any of the YouTube projects that I've got on the go. So it feels like I've been away. I had a few, you know, pre-recorded, which has been a blessing. But now they're slowly running out, so I need to get my act into gear. The other thing I wanted to show you is the Quilter's Companion for next year. The diary for next year is out and published. Now, I bought it for the first time last year, and I really, really enjoy it. I don't know, it may be because I'm doing, you know, YouTube videos. I've been able to schedule my YouTube plan in this so I can see if I've got a video coming up. But I'm really loving it. And the big thing I like is that every page has a quilt, and it tells you who they are and potentially their pattern, and if you can go and find it and potentially make it. So I won't flip through every page, but you get the, oh, look at that. You get the general feel for, oh, look at that. Is that Tilda stuff? Looks like Tilda fabrics. Maybe not. So, yeah, if you're in the need for a diary and you want a little weekly colour splash in your life, this is the book for you. So if you just Google Quilter's Companion 2024 diary, it'll pop up, and look for the one with the that shape. What's that shape? There'd be a name for that. I'm not an official quilter, so that's last year's. Don't be ordering that one. Look for this one. I saw that was still actually available out there. So yeah, I won't go through all of it. Oh, look at that. Isn't that unusual? Pick of the bunch. And often you can Google their name and down a rabbit hole you go. If there's something you spot that you think, ooh, that's right up my alley. Wendy Williams, she was the one, I think I just saw her name on that bag. Gosh, I'm getting no. Yeah, Wendy Williams, rag bag. Isn't that gorgeous? And that's a cushion. Got a real retro feel. Oh, I'm going through the whole thing here. And it's funny how my year went through and there'd be a designer come up that means nothing to me. Like, say, for example, this particular one, Gail Pan, means nothing to me. Never heard the name. And then I'll be rolling through my videos, doing projects, and suddenly this will come into my world, and I'm thinking, why do I know the name? And here it is in the diary. Afternoon tea in Melbourne, thinking of England. So, yes. I won't show August, that's it, we'll stop. You got to explore the rest. I haven't even looked myself. That's why I couldn't stop. So I'll put those two things away. So Brisbane girls, get yourself down to the fair if you can. And if you can get into Jennifer's class, excellent. And Quilter's Companion Diary is out. All right, stop mucking around, girl. Now, where are we at with this? That's pinned. So let's get that stitched down. I don't think I showed you this. I've got a piece of fine crocheted tablecloth. It came in a pack from Melanie, purveyor of textiles. Oh, I must send her a message too. I've got a little pile with her. She'll be thinking I've left town. Gosh, forgotten what I've ordered there, and I better nip that in the bud. Could be quite a few dollars sitting there with my name on it. But that piece of fine crocheting came from Melanie. And I added a little bit here. I think from memory, these petals looked a little bit flat and needed a little texture. So I cut some of that doily out and layered it in there. I may have done that on camera or not. I do apologise. I cannot remember. I feel like so much has happened this week. For those of you who watch the puppy update, thank you so much for your lovely comments. Oh my goodness, it's going to be the most commented video, I think, on my whole channel. Puppies do that, don't they? They melt your heart. And you all had such lovely things to say. It was just lovely. I was nervous about introducing them to you because, you know, we don't want to get too attached to these little babies. You never know what can happen, and then we've got to hand them on to their new families. So, I don't know how I'm going to cope. but they're doing really well. I was a little bit concerned, when was it? I think it was, when was the 20th? Let me just glance. So it must have been the 19th. The day after they were born, their weight, all of them dropped. Just a bit, but enough for me to be concerned. So I had a chat to my support crew, vet nurse, and the breeder that I got Bandit and Pepper from, and they all said that's pretty normal. They sort of come out of weight, and then as they settle into the outside world, their weight will drop, and they spend then the next 24 hours to 36 hours munching on all the colostrum that Pepper's producing. So it was like a caramel coloured milk, just like this fabric here. So they were sort of not getting so much of a belly full, but they were getting this squishy custard-like substance into their tummies, which puts a lining on their tummies. It builds up bacteria in their stomachs to help them digest food. And of course, the big thing is it builds up their immune system. So once they sort of have a day, a 24-hour period, maybe even a day and a half, digesting this colostrum, then the milk starts. And the my vet, she said, yeah, once the milk starts, then they're starting to get that fat content. They're also getting lots of calories, where the colostrum, they're putting so much effort into getting to her and drinking and kicking and wriggling, and so they're burning calories, and the colostrum is not really a calorie booster. It's more of a health thing. So the milk then kicks in, and I did notice, and actually I weighed them morning and night because I thought, oh, I better watch this. There were two in particular, I think Trixie and Snippet, those two little girls, the two little black dogs, they were a little bit light on. The others sort of dropped 5%. They dropped 10%. Just excuse me, I analyse it all. The motto is we'll never leave a hound behind. So I'm analysing it all. But yeah, they dropped just that little bit. So I was right on to Trixie and Stitch. And throughout that day, I noticed that evening was a little bit of an improvement. Others had jumped a little bit more than those two, but they weren't quite the percentage I wanted to see. So I think it was then yesterday I spent, whenever I went in there, I just sort of made sure Trixie and Snippet had a good feed. If they were sort of, I don't know, they're hanging back, or they seem very gentle. There's the red merles, the red spotty ones. They are strong and fat and active. And I thought, right, those three, we'll call them the little red bullies. They're not bullies, they're puppies, for goodness sakes. They don't have that tendency, but they're certainly first at the dinner bowl. So I would let them have their little feed, and the moment that they went to sleep, and Trixie and Snippet would go to sleep first, they were very quick to have a little feed and then doze off, where the three big red merles would just keep going and going and going. And as soon as they dozed off, moved them to one side, and I got the two little ones and just woke them up gently, and immediately they're like, food, and brought them into mum. And I did that 3 times throughout that 24-hour period, and their weight shot up. So because she's now producing actual milk. So it was really good. It was just that little bit of intervention to make sure that, the little ones get their fair share, because very quickly you find there's gutses, I think. So we need to watch Baxter. He's a guts. Rosie, the red one, she's a guts too. Yeah. I was a little worried about, now I'm still getting my head around the names, the blue Merle Jasper. He also was a little low, not as bad as the two little black dogs. So he got an extra fee too. I just did the one for him. So yeah, I've got Wombaroo on standby, which is a milk supplement designed for puppies. I've got my bottles ready, all sterilised, ready to go. At this stage, I don't think I'll need to step in. Pepper's milk seems to be adequate, but by weighing them, you know, every day at 8 o'clock in the evening, it'll give me a quick indication of if one's just probably not getting enough. So the numbers are pretty good in the way that Pepper has 8 teats and there's 9 puppies. So it's pretty good. Admittedly, there are a couple teats right up under her front arms that are a little bit smaller than the rest. They are filling with milk, and when I check them, there's definitely milk there, but the 4 at the back near her back legs are huge. So there should be plenty of milk to go around, but worst case, there isn't. I can slip a bottle or 2 of Wombaroo supplement into them. So I'll just monitor that for the next 48 hours. By the weekend, I should have a better feel for how Pepper's milk is going. So yeah, really, really happy with the way that they're proceeding. What was the other thing I was going to mention? I think the black dogs, I'm still not sure. Now, I think I explained in the video how the Australian Shepherds do black and red, and they can either be bi or tri. So a tri would have 2 additional colours on their body, or a bi, just one. So it'd be black and white. If it was a tri, it'd be black, white and tan. And the tan is just a little hint in a few key places around their cheeks, on the inside of their legs. And if you lift their tail, you'll get often a little tan splush of colour around their bottom. So it's pretty early yet to tell if I've got black tris or black bis. And last night when I was weighing them, I was having a closer look at the little black ones. And 3 of them, I can see the ginger up around their little bottoms. And then at closer inspection, there's just a hint of it on the inside of their legs. So I've definitely got 3 tris. So they'll be black dogs with white and then the hint of ginger. And the 4th one, he's looking like he's got the tri, but it's like this grey. It's really unusual. So he's a bit of a special puppy. So stay tuned in that department. What am I doing next? I'm going to work on these petals. I'm thinking I might do a bit of weaving. I'm doing a bit of weaving lately. So I might just put in my thread. Wonder if I should pop it in a little hoop. Does make it a little more stable, but being this is slow stitched, where's my little Nikki Franklin hoop? Here it is. It's an itty bitty hoop. It's really handy for these little projects. If you did want to track one down 5 inches, maybe 5.5. So I might just see if I can get that in. Yeah, so stay tuned on what the little black ones are. Are they going to have the gorgeous 3rd colour? Oh, goodness me. Open right up. Or are they going to be just, oh my goodness, 2 colours, the black and the white? So very exciting. Very exciting. They're changing so much. I'm thinking with the puppy updates, we'll do it every Monday. So I can then film it on a Sunday and then you guys can see it on the Monday. So that's the plan. So far, so good. I got a good day's sleep. I must have sounded terrible in that video. I was so tired. But, oh, gosh, I think I went to sleep at about midday, woke up at 6, walked out, felt like a little zombie. So I ended up having something to eat. I sat around to about 7:30 and I said to my husband, I said, I can't even pick up a needle to stitch. I'm just out of it. So I went straight back to bed and slept through to the morning. So yeah, we've set up a camera system in the laundry now, so I don't need to keep trotting down the hallway to see Pepper. I can just glance at the camera, and that way I'm not disturbing her. I don't want her to feel like her puppies need to be relocated to somewhere else because she doesn't feel safe. So she goes to the toilet every 3.5 hours. I do go down and check, but I can at least look at the camera and say, you know, oh, she's napping, I won't wake her, or the puppies are feeding, so I won't disturb them, and I might push it back to, you know, another 15-20 minutes and then toddle down the hallway to get her out for a little bit of a stretch of the legs and a snack, and yeah, let her go to the toilet. So we're getting into a bit of a routine with these little babies. So far, so good. They're so sweet. So there's my threads ready to start the weaving process. I'm just wondering where else I could do some. I'm tempted, how much thread have I got left? I'm tempted to muck around at the top here with it as well. So that's about all my puppy news. Now it's just they need to grow up and get fat and healthy. And it's funny, I took Pepper out to the backyard where Bandit is for a little walk around, and she saw Bandit for the first time for a couple of days. He's been at the laundry door looking in, but I did pull the curtain across. It's like a sheer curtain, not only to block out a little bit of that radiant heat from when the sun comes around in the west, but to just darken it a little bit and not have Bandit standing there glaring his eyeballs at her. But anyway, I let her out for a little frolic and a play in the toilet with Mr. Bandit, and oh, he was so pleased to see her, and she was he. Like she was prancing and putting a paw on his cheek and bouncing around. It was so sweet, and she had a lot of cuddles. Like I sat down on the grass and we all sort of just cuddled, and it was so heartwarming. And then she sort of, that was enough. She had enough. She's only out there for about 4 minutes, and Bennett was like, "Where are you going? Don't go." I don't like how those lines have gone there. I was thinking I was going to bend it around, but I'm going to keep my stitches really straight and let the thread that I weave sort of feel its way around that corner. Yeah, so Bandit's like, "Don't go, don't go." And he started following her because she's on her way back to the laundry door now, and there's like a little concrete path to get there. So he's trotting behind her going, "Don't go, where are you going? What are you doing? Can I come too?" And she spun around probably 2 meters from the door, and she growled at him and she mouthed him, and her mouth and her teeth, and she got hold of the side of his, like he's got a big mane, all fur, and she's grabbed that and she's like, "Grrr," and he's just got stopped dead in his tracks. He's like, okay. And it was like, "Don't you come any closer." And then she let go and trotted into the laundry. he turned and looked at me as to say, oh my goodness, Mum, what the hang happened there? So I called him, because I was calling him at the time. I was like, Bandit, Bandit, come back, because I had a feeling she probably wouldn't want his buffy feet in amongst it all. Not that I'd ever let him anywhere near the puppies, because he's too much of a buffhead, and it's a bit of a mama dog thing. Boy dogs don't usually get invited into the den. So, yeah, oh, did she tell him? She told him to back it up, bucko. You are not coming in here. What will we weave? I might do this. That'd be pretty. And then I might do a different colour at the back. We'll see. So, yes, Bandit got told. I'm going to use a thicker thread. That's real fine. Yeah, that's a 12. I think we'll use an 8. That'll take forever to weave that. So that was quite interesting. So I sort of made a decision then that when Bandit's still in his area where he sleeps for the night, it's like a third of the yard is against the house and it's all gated off so that the doggies are safe in the evening. You know, a robber could easily get in, but anyway, the dogs are safe and the frogs are safe from the dogs who tend to collect them through the night. So I sort of thought, well, I don't want Pepper to think Bandit is a threat, because she will think she needs to move the puppies, and she'll spend time then checking all of the original burrows that she created. She went around the whole garden and dug out little patches where she was thinking it would be, you know, somewhere for her puppies that were due very soon. So it was quite a little procedure she went through. It's got 4 little burrows. Anyway, I think if Bandit became a bit of an issue in her mind, she would go looking for those burrows and spend time doing the circuit again. And I sort of don't want it to do that. I want her to think that the laundry is her space. So I decided that when Bandit's in bed of a morning, he'll be the last out. I will get Pepper out first thing, let her have a little trot around the backyard. She can, you know, go to the toilet, have a breakfast. Then I'll let her come back in, settle down for maybe an hour, and then let her out again so she has another backyard trot around. That's familiar space, and Bandit won't be there to bug her. And then once Bandit's out for the day, by 7 o'clock, he's out and about, Pepper can go to the front yard. And that will be, you know, quiet, and the only thing she could bump into is Fudgy out there, but he certainly is keeping a wide berth of this hound that's in his front yard. So, and then when we're putting Bandit to bed about 5:30, he gets put into his area and has his dinner. Pepper then can go in the dark outside to the backyard again, and, you know, she's most familiar with her backyard. That's her space. So I think those pair won't be crossing paths much at all. Maybe every other day, maybe. I don't know, maybe not. I just want Pepper to think that she's 100% safe. So, and Bandit, he's such a buffus. He just wants to play and he misses her. And so when I finish filming this video, I'm going to go out and get the hose, and he so loves jumping in the water and splushing. He's got like a little, they're like a half shell. I fill it with water and he plays in it and mucks around. We're in for a bit of hot weather for the rest of this week. It's been so beautiful and cool. But there's a bit of a heat wave coming for Brisbane. So I'll get Bandit and the hose going, I think, next. Give him a bit of loving. But Pep will be due for a toilet break shortly too, so just never ends. I feel like I've been at home for days, over a week, just monitoring Pepper and being her support crew. So it's all good. Husband's gone to work today. We've had some containers of stock come in, so he's working in this horrendous heat, moving stock through to our Virginia store on the north side of Brisbane. So he's got the trailer and the van and trugging along like the road train. I told him to take Bandit with him. It could be his mascot. He's like, no, more trouble than he's worth, which he would be. He'd think it was great, but... So I think he was at it all day yesterday, and I think today should pretty much finish the last of it. I got a message to say that the 40-foot container that is sitting at the back of our Slacks Creek shop can be dehired. So I shot a message to the freight company that brings it in for us to say that they can send a Sammy to pick up the empty container and it can go back to the big ship or the shipping company. Don't think it goes back to the ship. It'd probably be long gone now. But, yeah, so that's our last container of stock for our business coming in that we import ourselves. The rest of the stock now, which is flowing in via pallets, and the odd container or two is all the Australian wholesalers now. So we sort of buy a little bit from all, and then the majority of it we bring in ourselves. So our stock is all in and on the deck, so which is great because we sort of try and get it in as early as possible so that we miss the port system, because it gets really busy. As you can imagine, leading up to Christmas, everyone's wanting all their gear in for Christmas sales. So ours is in and we're out of it, and the prices start increasing too. So our manufacturers appreciate our early orders because they can just focus on all their other customers if they know that Corrine's done and delivered. So it sort of works out really well. It gives our stores time to process all the stock too, because as you can imagine, when it starts flowing in thick and fast, our containers coming through from as early as May, we can, get it priced and on the floor and displayed, and now the staff can just focus on all of the Australian wholesalers. So busy times. I said to Pepper at one point, if you had just kept yourself, under control and not bloomin' got to Bandit, we would not be dealing with puppies now. Bloomin' hussy. But it looks like it'll all work out. You just have to adjust, don't you, when these little surprise pregnancies come along. But it looks like Grandma will cope. We'll see. Now that I know they're all healthy, I was worried I might have to bottle feed one of them or two. You just never know. Sometimes they need a little extra. And the bottle feeding, gosh, reading that stories about that's every 3 hours, and I was just dreading that. And then, if the puppy doesn't make it, I don't know how I would have coped. He would have had me on the camera sobbing. Horrible. But we're not out of the woods yet. We're still, only a few days. So my mate's going to pop over on the weekend and we're going to do a little vet check of them. She's specialises in veterinary surgery, so she's a clever chook. She's going to pop over and just have a little look at them all, make sure, put the stethoscope on them all, make sure they all sound good and healthy. And that'll be a load off the mine. I'm pretty sure they're fine. Like, I can see they're kicking and squealing and putting on weight. And as she said, look, do you sure you want me to check? And I'm like, yes, please. She said if they're putting on weight, they're fine. So just peace of mind. Can't hurt. Can't hurt. Pepsine's good too. She's really good. It appears that her uterus is doing everything it should. It's sort of cleaning itself, so that'll carry on for a couple weeks. I gave her a small little clean up at the rear end. She was not too bad. Like, doggies are pretty good. They do look after themselves, but she was a little bit messy. She's got a lot of fur at the back there. So I got her into the shower and just gave her a little rinse off and soaped her up a little bit, and she loves a bath. She loves the groomer when she comes, and swear she was smiling, purring. She was snuggling, and then when the towel comes out, that's the best bit. She really loves the towel. And yeah, so she would have felt a bit better. And then she's straight back to the puppies. She's so funny. She's so quick to, scoot straight back. And often she'll just stop and listen, and if she hears a squeak from them, she's off. She's gone. I can't hear it, but you can see that she can hear something. Very clever. So I'm just about finished the weaving of this petal. Don't know what else I'll do on the other sides of the petals. I'll have to have a play some other ideas. I'll probably use a dark colour to weave the back. Oh, see, I wove them together. I didn't need to get my overs and unders right. Get hold of that. It'll be good to do a little bit of stitching on this evening. I've been so focused on the Fleur Woods online course. I finished the actual videos. Now it's creating a collaged piece full of stitch and layers and pretty much what we do anyway here, but it's a big piece. Well, it's not big. It's 35 centimeters by 35, but Fleur's very intense stitching in a small space. If you haven't had a chance to check out her Instagram page, it's under her name. Have a little look and you'll soon get the gist. So I really want to get that intense into it. I do a lot of that type of work already, but I don't put the layers in that these textile artists do. Otherwise, I'd never get anything done. I'd be there, making these pieces forever. Where these textile artists, when it's their career, they really express themselves in their work. So to spend all those hours on it, it totally makes sense. And I probably would too if I was a textile artist trying to make a profession out of it or a living. Okay, yep. I ordered some books too from Can Do Books. See, Idle Hands. So I've got a little pile of books that just got posted this morning. So stay tuned. One of them's focusing on wool embroidery. Now, Susanna is kindly going to create some extra prompts for her project. It technically finished the Vintage Treasures. Wrong project. Where you invest when you, what's it called? Vintage Sewing Techniques. We technically finished the program. It was 9, and I was badgering her saying, I've got a journal, because she made a panel, so 9 pieces to her panel was perfect, but Muggins here did a journal and she's got some pages that are empty. So I was like, come on, let's do some more. I really enjoyed, especially the ones you just have never tried or you did when you were younger and you haven't done it since. I thoroughly enjoyed exploring all that. So everyone's been giving her suggestions and I've been chatting to her and we've been reminiscing, and she went through some of her books, and one of her books that she showed on her video was focusing on wool embroidery, and oh, it looked amazing. So I've ordered that myself. Yes, Susanna, I went and ordered some books, and then I spotted a couple others that caught my eye and I thought, oh, I like that artist. Some Anne Kelly. I've got a few of her books already, but she's popped up in a couple little magazines that they also sell. So I got, and they were like $6 or $10 for these two little magazines. I think they're called Embellish from memory, and Anne Kelly is featured in these two. So I got those. So yeah, they'll be on their way. I might just do this colour. It's down in here and I'm wondering if I can make it appear up there. So stay tuned, there'll be some gorgeous books on their way. And I can start thinking then about Susanna's next prompt. She's doing cathedral windows, stump work. I've never done stump work. That looks challenging. Stump work and wool embroidery. I think wool embroidery is the first. So what's next month? October. October we'll be exploring wool embroidery, and then the other two will follow. There was a fourth one she's considering, but she was wanting to hunt out some books just to make sure she had a book on it, because she likes to show us a book that she has from her collection, and then, you know, work the project from that point. So at least she's got a bit of a reference. And yeah, I'll have to watch some videos on stump work, because yeah, never done that before. I know Susanna, Sonia Steptoe, her channel, she does a lot of stump work. So I might even go back through some of Sonia's videos. Hello, Sonia, if you're watching. I'll go back through the videos and see if I can find some stump work ones that you've done. I'll have to keep it simple, but don't be expecting too much. Might be a leaf or two, maybe a flower if you're lucky. Yeah, we'll see. It's 3-dimensional embroidery. If anyone's like, what the hell is she talking about? Yeah, it's not down here, it's standing up here, so the flowers come off your page. Oh goodness, what an adventure to be had. It'll be good, but looking forward to it. Got to learn something new, even if it's a massive fail and I never go back to it and it gets thrown in the corner. That's all good. That just shows my abilities, doesn't it? Did anyone catch Leanne's video from, oh my goodness, I don't even have my phone. Leanne's Crafty Cupboard. Oh, I'm so sorry, Leanne. I've just gone blank. She did a video the other day. She's working on her Roxy journal, Treasure Hunt. She's doing a gorgeous Victorian-inspired box that you would keep your treasures in, or your embroidery, or, you know, that type of construction. And right at the very end of the video, she showed some irises in her garden that are flowering, and a rose. Now it's called origami rose. It's pink with white. So it's like a white rose, and then it's got this pink, nearly this tone, leading into maybe even a bit of that tone around the edges, and the petals, instead of being curved, they've got a kink in them. They seriously look like folded paper, hence the name origami, which is the art of folding paper, Japanese style of craft. It is stunning. And my friend who was down to help me with Pepper's birth, she is experienced in the way that she fosters puppies. For many years she's been a foster puppy mum, and so she came down just to be an extra set of hands to help me through the birth. Now she has started oh gosh, what a long story. She has started a rose garden. Now recently her dad, he was 97, passed away. Prior to him passing, he was living with them for a short time, and they started a rose garden together. He was a lover of roses, and this rose garden is just doing so well. It's really enjoying, the environment where she lives. She's up at Hervey Bay, which is up on the coastline of Queensland, about 4 hours from Brisbane. Yeah, these roses are just going great, really, really great. So she has just been gifted a purple rose from a mutual friend who was like, oh, I want to get her a present. What should I get her? And I said, oh, a rose. So she hunted high and low, and she found a rose supplier over in Adelaide and had this rose brought over. And it's like a purple, but a real deep, this sort of tone actually that I'm working with, but deeper. It's stunning. So roses are sort of in our radar at the moment. And then Leanne, you showed us that rose, the origami rose. I'll pop a picture at the end of it. It's stunning. So Sue's down, and I just was finished watching Leanne's video and saw the rose, and Sue was actually in the car on her way to me, getting ready. She was here for 2 days prior to Pepper's puppies, just to make sure she didn't miss the grand event. And she gets down the driveway, and I'm like, I've got another rose for you. You have to see this rose. And so she comes in, she pops all of her clothes in the spare room, and straight away we put on Leanne's video and the origami rose. Well, then we're like searching all over the internet for an origami rose. But unfortunately, the rose season for the plants themselves to be shipped and purchased and, is pretty much finished now. So really, I really could do with another. Yeah, there's nothing to weave there. Sorry, guys. I need another stitch to weave around. There's only 2, and I can't weave with 2. So I'm just going to quickly put that in. How are we going for time? Gosh, where'd the hour go? And I've got barely anything done. So much to tell you. So yeah, now we're on the hunt for an origami rose, but we're going to have to wait now till next season for one. So we've contacted a supplier and we've put our name down for this beautiful rose, and she can add it to her garden next spring. So it's all happening. It just, seriously, it just never ends. Just feel like we're constantly doing something. I'll tell you all about the house we're building in the next video, because it's very, very close to being handed to us. My husband went and did a walkthrough, and so they earmark anything that needs addressing, any faults. Then an outside company comes through. They also do their walkthrough. So we've had all of that done, and now they've got about 2 weeks, I think, to rectify everything on the final list, and then we get the keys to the front door. So yeah, so I've sort of been packing. I think I mentioned that previous video, I did the laundry so that I was out of Pepper's hair. Well, yesterday, while my husband was driving the trailer and the van was stopped to Virginia for the day, I emptied out some cupboards in the kitchen. When did I get so much plasticware? There's Tupperware from the bloomin' 1950s. There's just Tupperware, plastic containers, cereal containers, and some of it, you know, I have not used it since I put it in there. And what have we been in this house? 9 years? It's ridiculous. And now it's all packed, ready to go to the next cupboard. I did get rid of a few things, like a few things had broken lids and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just wish life was simple, you know. I don't need half the stuff. And there's, look, last 5 minutes, last story, cake tins. So yesterday afternoon I got a message from the neighbour. I don't think the girls watch my videos, but if you do, hello. And Leona was having a birthday, and Kat, they live side by side and I'm opposite them. Kat messaged me, Catherine messaged me and said, I've made a cake for Leona. We're walking the dogs this afternoon and then we'll come back to my place and have a cup of tea and a slice of cake, or a cold drink and a slice of cake. Are you home? And I said, yes, I am. So I said, I won't stay long because I've got Pepper, but I do have a camera system in there now, so I can at least, you know, keep an eye on it. And Gaz wasn't home yet, so I had about 35 minutes notice. And I was in my home clothes. You know, we won't go down that rabbit hole of chat. I was in my home clothes and I'd been packing those boxes in the kitchen all day, so I was a little bit hot and sweaty, and I thought, I'll freshen up, get changed. So I jumped in the shower. I thought, I better wash my hair. So I washed my hair. Like, we've got 30 minutes notice here, maybe 35. Washed the hair, jumped out of the shower, and I'm thinking in the shower, a gift. I've got nothing. There's nothing I could just think of off the top of my head, even in my craft room. Nothing. I think it's flowers. Can I get to Woolworths and back? That's a 10-minute, 20-minute round trip. I don't have time. So I'm drying my hair, putting the shoes on, looking, you know, half respectable. And I'm like, flowers. There'd be some natives. I got all natives in the backyard. There'd be some grevilleas flowering. There was about 2 weeks ago. The birdies have been around eating all the nectar from them. So I shot down to the backyard and grabbed myself a big bunch of yellow, is the only thing flowering, yellow grevilleas. And then there's another bush that had these white flowers. The head went up. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's called Blaze. The leaves are green and red as the new growth is red, so it looks like a blaze. And then they have a white flower. It was full of bees. So here I am hanging off the edge of the retainer wall, trying to cut these flowers out of this bush. There's bees everywhere. I'm like, excuse me, move along. Got a couple sprigs of that. I got a dozen or so of these beautiful grevilleas. I brought them in to the kitchen, popped them on the kitchen counter, and I thought, well, I'll just, you know, trim them, group them. I put some twine around them. I had some brown wrapping paper, so I wrapped them the best I could. The wrapping paper was like this wide, so it was a bit of a squinched sort of effect. Very, very artistic. And there was just bits of grevillea everywhere. And I'm like, oh my goodness, these things, there must be one in there that's a little older. So it's dropping all of its blossoms. So my kitchen bench was a mess, absolute mess. And I thought, can I give these flowers? What the hang. So I'm trotting across the road with this big bunch of flowers. And Catherine lets me in. She's like, oh, wow, they're amazing. And I said, yeah, well, you'll be cursing me by the time I leave because these will be all over your floor. They're going to be over your kitchen. Anyway, next minute, Leona walks in behind me and, you know, cuddles all around. Happy birthday. Here's your flowers. And then I said, look, I will not be offended if you walk them straight to the bin because you're going to need to go through them, because there's some in there, these grevilleas, that must be at the end of their flowering, and all of the little flowers are dropping their bits. So they'll laugh and they look amazing. They look like a, you know, $150 an arrangement of flowers. So they were very impressed. But yeah, I reckon they would have been cursing me as I left. So I had a slice of cake and an orange juice, quick little chat, and then I said, I gotta go. Gotta get back to my babies. So they saw the photos and were all very excited. So yeah, it was all fun and games. Look, there we go, we're on the hour. Well, I'll keep fiddling around with this piece. We will have the new prompt come through tonight. For me, that's Wednesday, but as you're watching this, you'll already know. So I'll catch up with you Saturday. Friday, I've got my video already in, scheduled in, and that's working on spring, embroidering our flowers. So the spring embroidery will be every Friday until we finish it. We've got the whole 3 months to do that, which should be plenty of time. So the Roxy Girls prompt and a catch up will be on Saturday. So it'll either be finishing this or I've finished it and we're on to the next thing. I don't know. We'll just, no pressure. I'm taking the pressure off myself and just enjoying the stitch. And what will be, will be. So that is it from me, I think. I'm just going to probably sit here and do a bit of stitching once I turn the camera off. And I will see you all on Saturday in the next video. All right, guys. There we go. Bring it up to the camera. I'll put at the end of this video that beautiful origami rose that Leanne had in her garden. I'll also link the video that Leanne shows the rose. You may or may not know of Leanne's channel. Go check her out. She's doing the Roxy Journal of Stitchery project as well, the treasure hunt. And the rose is right at the very end, and some beautiful irises. So if you're in a rush and you just want to quickly see the roses, just go straight through to the end of the video and you'll catch those two gorgeous, gorgeous things. Can't wait to see them all flowered, Leanne. They're going to be absolutely spectacular. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. All right, guys, bye for now. Bye.